Mason's Guide to Barefoot Doctoring. An Introduction. We are living in very perilous times. The world economic picture is grim, and it seems more and more likely with each passing day. Large segments of the population could find themselves unemployed, homeless, and falling into an ever-widening schism with the dispossessed. The purpose of this book, therefore, is twofold. Firstly, to promote the health of the individual, group, and families into which it may come. And second, to diminish the exorbitant expense of maintaining that blessing for the individual, group, or household. To that end, this book has been arranged and written so as to put into the hands of the ordinary person of average intelligence the means, through its use, to determine exactly what ailment a person is suffering with or suffering from, as well as provide relatively easy to find agents in nature which have been shown through generations to be trustworthy and consistently reliable for effecting alleviation and cure. This information is of the utmost value, especially when the economic and socio-political climate of the entire globe appears to be increasingly destabilizing. Access to physicians, then, could in the not-too-distant future be reserved for only the extremely wealthy, and even when physicians are accessible to the general public, the pharmaceuticals may not be. This book will thoroughly arm the possessor for a worst-case scenario. This book will guide the reader on how to be the doctor where there is no doctor. As a rule, the symptoms of any given malady in the human body are subsequently the same in the different individuals it attacks. In addition, while it may be true some diseases have nearly identical symptoms, this is the exception and not the rule. Further, even with diseases that present very alike, if the signs and symptoms be carefully observed and noted, there will be differences which make it possible for the perceptive healer to differentiate one ailment from another. It is a modern lie generated by the established medical corporations that blood tests, MRIs, EKGs, and many other laboratory techniques are absolute requirements to determine what a person is suffering from. Old-time doctors routinely assessed and accurately diagnosed their patients without any of these advanced technologies. Of course, most physicians today are so reliant upon these modern contrivances, they are nearly incapable of accurately diagnosing even the simplest of afflictions without resorting to these machinations. I have personally known a few old-time general practitioners of medicine who could accurately diagnose a patient by carefully and astutely observing the symptoms alone. In 95% of the cases, their diagnoses were confirmed correct by laboratory techniques. The existence of physicians with the ability to accurately diagnose a person from their symptoms alone is very telling. Another huge lie from the modern business of medicine is the idea they promulgate in the minds of the masses that only modern, highly concentrated, and extremely poisonous pharmaceutical drugs are effective for treating disease. This is simply a lie. That modern pharmaceuticals are more effective and safer. The truth is, the first synthesized drug, which started the pharmaceutical revolution and birthed big pharmacy, was morphine in the 1950s. Before this time, medicines were largely plant extracts, powders pressed into pills, and excellent nursing skills on the part of the healer. So it's only been a little more than 60 years or so that man has been using high-tech pharmaceuticals, while before this time, man had a span of at least 6,000 years using only the agents found in nature to help the ailing and suffering. This book seeks to revive the true art of medicine once more. in a time when, for whatever reason, modern conveniences may become no longer easily accessible. This book represents not only the science of medicine, but a revival of its nearly extinct art. The author has arranged this text into two principal sections: diseases and natural pharmacy. In the diseases section, the handler will find first an alphabetically listed case of symptoms and a list of diseases with that symptom as a principal indication. Each disease listed under each specific symptom has further symptoms given to help differentiate one specific disease from that of another with the same symptom. Once the reader determines the exact disease through the quick glance symptoms chart, they may then turn to the appropriate disease, which has also been listed alphabetically, and there find a precise description of that particular disease's symptoms, discover its principal causes when known, as well as be instructed into specific and detailed approaches to treat that particular malady. In the second section, the reader will be introduced to a general overview of plant anatomy from the purpose of proper identification of common plants in the wilds with medicinally active effects. They will also be exposed to some basic medical terms as applied in describing pharmaceutical actions. The last part of this special section will provide in-depth record of more easily found medicinal agents in nature. It is the Materia Medica of Wilderness Medicine Compendium, wherein is given the complete and common scientific names of each plant or other medical agent, written descriptions of the plant with identifying features, poisonous lookalikes, parts used, terrain to be found, directions for collection, times for harvest, preparations and medical uses, dosage ranges, and toxicological information with general treatments for overdoses when appropriate. Section 2 terminates with a detailed illustration, or in some texts, photos of each plant and other agents described, with the knowledge in ordinary language to pinpoint the exact ailment as well as choose, successfully find, and prepare natural curative agents for the treatment of the ailment. Most any case of sickness will be well in the hands of those most interested, and thus can be handled as occasion dictates and requires. Though this volume has been compiled and written by a single individual, the work actually represents a brigade of doctors and other healers' experiences pulled from hundreds of volumes on medicine widely dispersed over many years and thousands of pages condensed into this one book. Finally, as the author and compiler of this book, I am sure of its intrinsic value. I am thoroughly confident as to the certainty and trustworthiness of the information given, both in terms of diagnostic accuracy as well as that related to remedial cure. This confidence comes through scientific knowledge about the subject set before us, but also through years of hands-on experience assessing and successfully treating a broad range of ailments through these very means. It is due to this very fact I have implicit confidence. I further enthusiastically recommend this book to my friends and family members alike. The globalists may despise the existence of this manual, and they may even seek to eliminate its existence or threaten me with sanctions and punishments for revealing this knowledge in simple terms so that even a child who can read with average intellect understands. I do not care. These men and women are evil, and humanity as a whole is the beginning and end of my full purpose for living. Humanity's welfare is my only business. Therefore, to the schemes threats and promised sanctions and punishments, the author simply replies, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn."